I bought this house every day. I come home, I got a bunch of kids in the yard. I was like, what are you guys doing over here? They said, oh, you are coach. I was like, no, I'm not your coach. Don't be calling me coach neither. And so every day I get out from work, here they are, just sitting right here in the yard waiting on me. Now I'm like, no, I told you, don't you call me coach and go home. So then they say, oh yeah, you are coach. I said, well, I'm your coach. And when I coach when I'm cussing, then what I would do is make him do push-ups. And if I caught him doing anything wrong, I'd make him do push-ups. So they didn't leave, they kept coming. In fact, that 12 turned to 40. And then when it started getting colder, we had to bring them in the house. And we had like 40, 50 kids in our home, and we said, forget, we had to do this Friday nights and just have one-time meeting on Fridays. And then it went to 100 kids. Then it went to 200 kids. And it's on up to well over 300 now. We do it from our heart, from our heartbeat. We don't try to force religion on them. We don't try to force food on them. We don't try to make them do anything. Well, if you get this, this is what you have to pay. It's nothing like there's no gimmicks. What you see is what it is. To walk up and say, hey, you're a gang member, and you got problems, and I'm against you right at the bat. No, that's the wrong thing to do. But to walk up to them and say, hey, you're a young man, and I am a man, and I can show you a way out. I'm not going to give you money. I'm not going to give you a job making $2,000 or $3,000 a week. I'm not going to give you that. I'm going to give you this $4,000 or $5,000. Now, if you want to be the man that I am, then you got to take it. You're going to pay your dues like everybody else, because it's something that'll last a long time. And when I lay it on the table like that, the young men, they respond. They like that.
The reason I came here was that I couldn't go a day without using or doing some kind of drugs. And I was really unhappy, and my life was really unmanageable, and then sanity was just too crazy. If I didn't have any in the morning, I'd go anywhere and everywhere I had to go to find it, and my attitude, it was miserable. It was miserable. I mean, my whole day was just, my whole life was focused on getting drugs, keeping drugs.
What was your self-image at that point? What did you think of yourself?
I didn't like myself. You know, I used to cry when I was doing it. I'd cry real hard.
I decided in jail at that time I had to do something with my life because I'd been strung out for like 13 years. And I was really tired of that. So I made a decision in jail then and got a hold of my parole officer, one of my parole officers, because I had state and federal parole. And I told him I needed to do something with my life, that going to prison I didn't feel would keep me off drugs again, because every time I'd come out of prison, I'd go right back to the drugs.
I think differently. Today it's not acceptable to me to use drugs anymore. It's changed a lot. I've changed inside here. I've learned a lot about myself.
My little boy now, he's 11. I go to his baseball games with him now all the time. I'll pick him up on the weekend, and we go out and do things. We never done that before, you know. I was always in the joint or something. Maybe I seen him a couple months, you know, out of a year, or when I come home, last trip was 5 years down, you know, 4 for the state and 1 for the feds. And I didn't even know this boy hardly, you know. But now I'm able to go get my son and say, hey, let's go for the weekend, or let's go somewhere and do something, and he loves it, you know. He knows I'm there for him now.
Of every 10 newborns in the United States is exposed in the womb to 1 or more illicit drugs, with cocaine being the most common.
Go to the restroom really quick, okay, before your report.
In California, most of these drug-assaulted babies require hospitalization 5 times longer than normal newborns. The medical care for these babies costs more than 13 times as much, and the taxpayers usually foot the bill. Although the unborn have been subjected to opiates, barbiturates, cocaine, and various other damaging drugs, including alcohol and tobacco, for many years, crack is forcing us all to take notice.
To everybody else, that's very normal, but they don't have the suck-swallow reflexes that a normal baby has. They can have seizures, they can have central nervous system disorders where they can actually continue to move so much that they rub their skin, their elbows, their knees, their face raw. They'd have to be restrained. They can have seizures. and their seizures can be 1 or 2 times during their course of their hospitalization, or it can be continuous. Prematurity, which is one of the biggest things, where they're just born too early, be on respirators, cannot breathe properly, and so forth. For any type of mother who's coming off the streets or has been through prenatal care, and their babies come into the intensive care nursery, immediately a lot of guilt and shame is enhanced in that. So what we do is we make sure the moms come out here, even though the babies may be critical on ventilators and so forth, and we teach them how to bond with that baby and make sure that they come out here. We provide transportation for them, make sure that they continue to see the baby and get acquainted, and also help them to try to get off of drugs so they can become a family again.
In addition to physical problems at birth, most of the drug-affected babies have unseen damage. Unseen, that is, until the behavioral problems that disrupt their educational and social development expose the destruction for society to see. In cities across the nation, hospitals, educators, county agencies are working together to help crack kids and their moms. Here in Sacramento, one such program is Options for Recovery.
What the program does is to give them an understanding about what addiction is, what recovery is, what relapse is, dealing with life skills, dealing with self-esteem, stress management, anger control, to get back to being normal, whatever that is, and learning how to live in the world without chemicals.